Welcome to Moms on the Runway. We're here to help you navigate the beautiful chaos of all things mom.
Last week, we left off on weekly wins, and we wanted you to take 20 minutes for yourself, something that you could do and feel good about. So what was, I guess maybe we'll start with what our weekly wins was, if you want to share yours.
Okay, I'll go. So I left off with the whole stat about going through social media.
Yes.
And that's what I did. I actually was like, you know what? I'm going to take time and I'm going to get off social media. So I gave myself 10 minutes. I have given myself 10 minutes every day. And I'll just say for me, like I would go through it and an hour would be gone. And now I'm like, I actually was like, no, now I have to be intentional about what I'm going to replace it with.
Yes.
Sometimes it was sleep, which was really important.
So important.
And other times, I read and I did a couple other things. But yeah, that was my weekly win.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I started with just trying to exercise every day, but I think I just was way in over my head. I think I got in like 2 days, and then I was like, all right, now it's the 15th, and I've done it twice this year. So wasn't so successful on the initial intentional weekly win, but I had a weekly win yesterday of just taking down my Christmas tree. I think usually it stays up until March. It's the March Christmas tree. So,
well, people are going to think it's March. It's not March. We're not in March.
It's not in March. We're halfway through January.
Yeah.
And the Christmas tree is down, which is way ahead of the game. So that was a big win.
Well, I think the most important part of that story is that it's not a fake tree. It was the real tree surviving for weeks after Christmas.
Surviving is questionable. It is just not surviving.
Okay. Yeah, so good. That's a good weekly win. Yeah, just like being able to feel like, oh, you cleaned something, you got something accomplished. It's a win.
It is a win. I feel good about it.
Okay, good. All right, so we want to hear your weekly wins. We're excited to hear what everyone's doing, and I don't know, we might pick up on some of these other ideas that people have that we don't. So, okay, so we are going to talk about friendships and community this time. So we're really excited about this one because we think it's really important. We get super busy in our lives as moms, right? Like running the kids around or going to work or making dinner. And we just don't stop and take time for friends. Right. And it's not easy, it's not easy. Just like, the weekly wins and taking time for yourself. But we think it's really, really important. So we did a little bit of research. I'm going to read some of these things. We'll talk about a little bit of these. But just the importance of having friends or community or both in our lives. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. But let's go through some of the reasons we feel it's super important. So emotional support. I mean, we all definitely need emotional support in our lives. So a couple things that I just had researched that came up with. Sharing stories normalizes struggles. Hearing me too can ease guilt and pressure. So, let's talk about that for a second, because how many times do we think we're the only one going through what we're going through and we're really just not?
Just goes back to what we were talking about last time with social media and just watching everybody's highlight reel and just thinking like, oh my gosh, and it's just comparison is the stealer of joy. And it's just so awful, and we all do it. I think it's just like we know that that's their highlight, but we think that that's actually their day-to-day life, and we're like, well, how come our life doesn't look like that? And so but it also feels kind of weird if people are starting to, now you see this movement with social media and people like crying into the camera, like just trying to, see, I'm human too. So, I don't know. I think we should be uplifting each other through our outward communication through social media and things like that. Yeah. But, sharing some of those stories is hugely important.
Yeah, knowing that we're not alone.
Right.
We're not doing this alone. So, motherhood can be isolating, especially in the early years. I think we both know when we started off. It's hard. It's really hard starting off and not knowing much about, what it takes to be a mom. But having someone in your life can reduce loneliness, which I think is important. I think a lot of us feel lonely from different times, thinking we're the only one in the boat that we're in. But I think that's important.
And I feel like, maybe it's like a cultural thing, but I see a lot of, it's just more focused, like a lot of the Spanish families. I know, like in my culture with Ukrainian and Russian, it's just families, mothers tend to be extremely involved in that, initial 6 months especially. I mean, my mom, thank God for my mom. She was here daily. Just, I mean, it's a gift. Not everybody can do it, and I'll take it just as that. Cooking and helping clean and just helping out. It just
Important.
is so important, and it's just ingrained into certain cultures. I feel like where. It just a lot of my friends here have a little bit of a tougher time with just that family support.
Yep.
So I feel like it's important to have community. Just at least maybe finding friends or somebody.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. So on the mental health and stress relief, the importance, studies show moms with strong social support report lower stress, less anxiety, and reduced risk of postpartum depression. So we know that that's really big with moms and dealing with postpartum, but just overall, the lower stress, less anxiety, give it part of your, everything you're going through off to someone else to you just feel better sometimes saying it, and then obviously they're probably pretty encouraging back.
Yeah, it's support is everything with postpartum, I think a lot of times, and that's just such a huge topic because it's a physical thing. I mean, really it is, because your body, just everything that you see on the outside is bouncing back, but it's also just your hormones are bouncing back. A lot of the invisible things have to take time to bounce back, and everybody just thinks, oh, like this bounce back, it should happen quickly, it should happen within a month and 6 weeks, and putting timelines on it. And I think we really have gotten away from what it really takes to grow a human in your body for all the time that goes into it for 9-10 months, then the delivery, and then really just being realistic. I think that the culture pushes us to be less realistic than what we really should be.
Yeah. Yep, and having people to support that is super helpful, to go through that journey with you so you feel less
supported.
Stressed. Yeah. So practical ways that people can help is, I mean, there's a lot of different ways, but carpooling is a huge thing. I can't tell you how many times in my life where it's like, hey, I need you to pick up my kids, or they ask me, and we love to do that. But even babysitting, or even when you're pregnant, having people help you out with meals, so many different ways, practical ways that people will help us, our friends will help us.
Yeah.
Identity and growth. Good friends remind you that you're not just a mom, you're still you. I love that. You're still you. How many times do we forget that?
For sure.
Yeah, we get wrapped up in the identity of being a mom, but yeah. Okay, impact on kids. This is super important too. When kids see their mom surrounded by supportive friendships, they learn the value of healthy relationships.
Right.
So I think that's really important. And then children benefit directly when moms are happier and less stressed. I mean, we know that. I mean, we get crazy and our mindset is crazy, and then our kids are crazy. Like, they just feed off from us. So I think that's important. So friendships, community, super important. So we want to talk a little bit about that. So yeah, let me just kind of start off and, throw you a question. And thinking back to when you first became a mom, what did that look like? Don't ask me this question. It was 26 years ago. It's a long time ago. But what did that look like? What did that transition look like for you?
So I think it just made me a more serious person. Just overall, I think that just kind of going back to like all of those points you were talking about, I just was like, yes. Just, my friendships maybe in my 20s just seemed a little bit more shallow and surface. And it really just took me having a child to realize that. And, I thought, hey, these are my friends, we're best friends, don't get me wrong, there are people who were in my life back then who still are in my life, but they're few. Yeah. You just kind of weed through it. So I think that, just relationships change. You just realize that they're in a different chapter, and then you're like now with a child. And so you're calling your friends, and your friends are over to say hello to the baby, but then they're off living their life, and you're just kind of feeling a little bit, I think, excluded, and now you're just, you know, especially if you're not surrounded by other moms who are going through the same thing, like got married, you know, maybe they don't have children yet. And so I think that is a really tough point in time.
Yeah, I think too, as you're in your 20s and 30s, it's so spread out when people change, right? Like, so some people are doing it in their early 20s, you know, getting married, having kids, but then their friends might be waiting until their mid 30s now to do it. So back, I think when our moms, it was just, you know, graduate, have kids, get married, have kids, whatever.
So you went through your life with like your group, because everybody was doing the same thing.
Yep. Yeah, because I know, like with me, I have a lot of cousins my same age, whereas, you know, my kids, they're a little bit more spread out just from the ages that we had kids. So, so that's good. I think that's important, you know, to realize that those transitions you go through are okay. And it's going to look different for all of us. You're not going to look the same as your friends. But finding that community, each stage is super important.
Yeah, and it just was, you know, I had to figure out, okay, who are going to be my friends now?
Yeah.
You know, it's just, you can't begrudge them for having, continuing on, because their life didn't change, and you're kind of forced into that change. And I don't really want to confuse this as like, you know, any sense of bitterness. I mean, if anything, it was just a huge blessing. And it made me more focused. It made me just grow up. It really, truly made me, you know, be an adult, but then also to find quality friendships that were, you know, just discerning between what am I really looking for in a friend. It's almost like your spouse. You just start being a little bit more discerning with what you're looking for in friendships and what type of people you want to be surrounded with. And so I think that's also just different. And maybe it's going to the gym, and there's a mommy group there, and they're doing their workout with the babies. I did that for a little bit, you know.
That's so cool.
That was, you know, that was fun. It was just a way for all the new moms to take their strollers and go outside, and when, you know, when weather permitted. But you know, things like that make a big difference. Is just finding a little community for whatever place you're in. So expanding a little bit on what we've been talking about, Miss, can you talk a little bit more about the importance of community and friendships that drain you versus friendships that add value to your life?
Yeah. So yeah, my community, like I have a big community in that I have a huge family. And that is incredibly important to me. I feel super lucky by that, with that. And my friends, it's a much smaller group, and it's changed. As you had mentioned, it looks totally different, you know. In school, I had a ton of friends. And then as I got into high school and more so in college, it was less and less. And it was more about the quantity. I mean, the quality, not the quantity, right? So it was more about who are these genuine friends of mine. And I did that pretty early on in my 20s, I would say. And it's the same ones that are in my life today. I mean, I have a lot of friends. I have work friends. I have mom friends in like the different sports that my kids played, or, you know, dance or whatever. But the ones that have just been there for years and years, there's only, I would say two. I have a lot of great friends, but ones that I tell everything to.
Yes.
Super important when I need to like vent, or I just need to be uplifted, or just like I have one that checks in all the time, like, hey, just health check, how are you? And that's just meaningful.
It is.
So I think it's meant a lot to me. Yeah, and I think that I watch my kids and their friendships, and you watch the journey that they're going through, and you look back and you wonder how similar yours was to it. But you know, the older I'm watching them get, the less friends that they have. And some, you know,
sense.
I was never one. There's some people I get a little jealous out of the girls that like all go out, 10 of them, and they have this big friend group. That's never been me. I'm not really a girly girl. So that's, you know, I watch people do that and I love that for them. But I'm just like, oh, I think that would be fun. But that's just never been my personality. And with my kids, I've really stressed the importance of watching and how meaningful they are, because I've seen people that have torn them down or are jealous or whatever, and they just train them. And yeah, and you just want them to be like, it's really about the genuineness of the friendship between the two of you. So I think it's unbelievably important, and we're gonna, talk about how to get there, because it's hard. You get busy. It's hard to maintain those friendships, and both of mine happen to be out of state. I think your best friend is out of state. It's really hard. So, I think it's incredibly important for me. So, just kind of going along with that same thing. What do you value? Like, what's most important to you in a friendship?
I think it's much like a marriage. It's the weirdest thing, but just, what mattered to me in a friendship, I guess, changed throughout my life. And so today, just a little bit wiser and not arrived yet, but just, today I think that foundationally we have to be the same. So I think that if we are, and not to say that, opposites do attract to a degree, and this is both in marriage and friendships, but birds of a feather truly do flock together. So
Agreed.
it's, if we're, it's in the last 5 years how polarizing everything has been on the political, in the political arena. I mean, there are friends lost, not by my choice, but I just feel like people really have taken just a very polar stance and are not willing to be friends and work through it. But at the same time, there are some topics that you really can't come to a middle ground on necessarily. You either feel a certain way or you don't, and then you have to decide, hey, am I going to hate this person for having an opposing view, or can we work through something like that? So I think for me, the most important is just that foundation. I think the closest people in my life to me are Christian, they're believers, and I really feel like there is not a pocket that I have to exclude. They take me, the whole me. They look at the, physical side of it, the, mental side of it, the spiritual side of it, and I really can be myself without really guarding, what I say or being worried about, hey, is this going to offend them? That matters.
To also people that give you life and not
bring you
suck
down.
it out of you. Yeah. I think that's really important to have people that not just you relate to, but that you're also, energized by in a way that's encouraging and motivating and challenging even. I love friends that will call me out on stuff.
Yes.
And I think that's a really important piece of friendship too, genuine friendship. So, yeah.
Because they're not standing back and just, if they see you going down the wrong path, they're not just saying, yes, that's okay, that's fine. They really just check you, and they give you a little bit of a reality check to where, that that's a true friend.
Yep.
And, going back to what you said, there was a friend, and sometimes you're like, well, I really want to help this person. And so you're just really a friend with somebody because you feel like they need your help. So it's almost like, you're going to mend a broken wing. But after a while, you just realize that that's just who they are. It's kind of like a woe me type of a personality that for me is just completely incompatible. You can go through difficult times, and one of my closest friends, and me too, I've gone through ups and downs through 15, 20 years that we've been friends. And so you go through entire dark seasons to where you need that person, that shoulder to lean on. But at the end of the day, I feel like what you said, she fills my cup. If I call her and we'll go through a bunch of stuff, and I'm like, you know what, you really just energized me, you uplifted me, and you brought life into my day, and that's truly what you need.
So important to have those people. It's so important. Yeah. Do you do that with family at all? Do you have family members? I know you're really close with your mom.
Hugely
do you find
close.
that? Yeah, and that's really important too. So, it's hard as we get older to keep or maintain friendships. It's just life is crazy. So to be able to find that in family as well, I love it. I'm so thankful that I get to have that too.
I was just thinking about that last night, just thinking about our podcast and just talking about all of this today. And that's exactly what I thought about, how just over time, friends become, or your family becomes some of your closest friends. And I mean, you just, especially just watching you with your kids, it's just really incredible just how unique your relationship is with each one of them, just because they're into different things. But you're first and foremost mom, and you're, you know, a leader in their life, but at the same time, you are their friend. Which it's a little bit different for me. I just, you know, a little conflicted with a 10-year-old. I'm like, I'm not your friend. But I am. But I'm not your friend. I'm first and foremost, I'm not about gentle parenting at all. I'm just like, there are rules. This is what you, and that's going to help her long term.
It is funny because now that my 18-year-old is off to college, it is really fun in the way that she has had me for the last 2 weeks since she's been away at college.
I've been watching all your pictures.
She's living it up. She's had me on FaceTime. Like when she was in my house, she would FaceTime her friends. Like they would just be getting ready, doing stuff, FaceTime. And now she's doing that with me. And I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. Like she just will have FaceTime on. She'll be getting ready. I'll be getting ready.
Oh,
and I don't want to
be together.
Yes. Like we're still like, oh, you're here with me, Zoe. Like I love it. So yeah, it's very fun to have that. But you're right. Like I always think of my mom that way. But now I'm like, oh my gosh, I have an 18-year-old that might kind of form now this friendship. Like you said, your family becomes your friends. So she's still not, I mean, I'm still going to tell her what to do. Don't worry. But yeah, but that's kind of a unique way to think about it too.
Yeah. And, you know, I think that family is just so important. You just always go back to if you have a broken family and there is any hope of mending it, just do it. You know, just take that step. Reach out, follow up, you know, call your mom if she's around, if she's still here, call your dad, and just make that connection. Because if it's broken and it's fixed, it's going to be so much better for you, for your family, for your children. Obviously, different scenarios happen, which we all understand.
Yeah, we don't know everyone's situation, but obviously, if you can heal those relationships, they're important in your life.
Yeah, so to kind of continue on, you know, and along the same train of thought, as you were growing up, what were your friendships like growing up, and how have they changed with the kids?
Yeah, I'm gonna, you know, I don't know, I'm gonna relate to people on this. I hope I will. I don't hope people feel like I felt, but I feel like we all feel like we're kind of outcast, right? So when I was growing up, I had a ton of friends in elementary school, but as I got older, I was a tomboy. Like I loved sports.
Big time.
I did not like girly girl things. I swore I would never have a cheerleader or a dancer. Like I literally said that all through my 20s. Like I am not going to have any girly girls. I did get one, by the way. I got a very girly girl, but I just kind of felt out of place all the time growing up. And I always had one really, really good girlfriend and then 10 guys. Yeah. Because I was more into sports, and I would today rather watch football than like what are the housewives shows or whatever. Totally. Like, you know, I would do the reality shows. I just would rather do that. So I really felt very out of place. I still do today, like with other females, because like on the sidelines of my kids' sports, like all the moms are together in a group, and I'd be like, hit them harder, like go faster. Like,
you know, an absurd amount of information when it comes to sports. Like all the guys in the office start talking, you're like, yeah. And I'm like, I know. How do you know this?
I know. So like, but part of it is I like always felt out of place because of that, because my interests were so different.
And now it helps in your career. I bet you all the guys love to talk sports, and I'm like clueless. I'm like, okay. Yeah. And you're like, yeah.
Well, I went to lunch the other day with one of my customers, and that's all we talked about were sports the whole time, because my daughter's school and the other guy's son's school, also a freshman, are playing each other. So it's, you know, in the championship. Crazy. So we're like, that's all we talked about. But it's like, I think all of us at one point feel somewhat of an outcast with our friends. We feel different. There's so much that like, oh, I want to be like this and I want to be like that. And it took a lot for me to be like, no, this is who I am. This is who God made me to be. And I just kind of embraced it and said, you know what, that's, as I've grown up, I don't have those guy friends. I mean, I have, from back then, I still communicate and stuff, but, get married and you don't have that same relationship. And I don't have guy friends that I'm going to hang out with so much now. But, so it does change, it evolves.
Right.
But I do remember, it was hard because I just always felt like on the sideline, like, yeah, that's a great little group. And I just feel like, I don't know how to talk to those type of people. So, but I think we all feel like that to some degree. But yeah, you just find your own people, and they accept you for whatever that looks like, sports loving or not. So, yeah. So let's switch gears a little bit, because I think as you are a mom and you're getting older, it is really hard to find friends. So if you don't have that childhood friend, or that college age or whatever, that friend that you have, or you have people like couple friends, like, it's hard. It's hard to find new people. And so I know with you during COVID, your family moved down to Florida, which I will say I was very jealous. I was like, oh, I want to go. But anyway, you moved. And how did you go about finding new friends in a new city?
This is just the craziest thing, because I was like a crazy person. Just so
you were hidden if you were a crazy person, because I never knew that about you. You're a closet crazy
I would
person.
Be like, okay, I'm looking out the window. Is that a mom with a child in our neighborhood? I'm like, hey,
stalking.
I want to like, do you have any friends? I don't have any friends. Do you want to be a friend? Or children? Do they want to have a play date?
They're the same age. They look the same age.
They look like they might be into playing with each other. So I mean, it really started out as that. So we really, so we have this beach club that's next to our house, and so there was another family that moved into our area the same time as we did, and so this girl became my best friend down in Florida, and she has 3 kids, and so her middle daughter is the same age as Josephine, and so they just hit it off. I mean, we just ran into each other. I just saw them playing on the beach, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we're the same age. And she was like, oh, I'm Ukrainian. And I'm like, oh my gosh, me too. And
that's
so
crazy.
We really just were kind of placed in it. But I feel like Florida versus New York is just different. People have different, like, I don't know, maybe they're just all from on the west side of Florida. They're from like the Midwest, so they're all like super nice. I don't know. So, and everybody is to
Not
a degree.
Not that our Fort Lauderdale friends are.
They're super nice,
we have
but
a lot
they're
of
more
Fort
like
Lauderdale friends.
they're like the New Yorker types. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
not to like categorize people, but in reality, I just feel like also in Florida, just about everybody is a transplant from somewhere.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are just open to looking for friends. So, and then this friend, it just kind of went from me meeting this girl, and then she introduced me to her friends. And then, Florida is just conducive to making friends. I'm just walking down the main street. I walk into a little bakery. Come to find out, the people who own the bakery are from Odessa, Ukraine. That's where I'm from. So they have kids. So then they're like, oh my gosh, come to our church. So we start going to the church. The church, I meet these people there. They have a school. Our daughter ends up going to the school. There's an entire church community. So now it's like we're having, fast forward 2.5 years, we're having a gender reveal with like 50 friends there.
Oh,
people are like, fun. How do you know all these people? And it's just like, it just kind of continues growing, and you just embrace it. And I just feel like down in Florida too, people are just so much more open about their faith and just about, that being a part of their life. It just was a beautiful time, for community and for friendships, and for me to even like grow more as just a person on a spiritual side, just, personally, and as a mother.
So going back to what you first said, so stalking, that's the way you find new friends, is that where we're going?
It starts out desperate times call for desperate measures.
Okay. No, that's good. I love that. That's a great story. And yeah, those people are so important in your life now, and
huge.
Yeah, part of now your kids' lives. Like, I love that. That's really cool. That's a great story.
By the same token, what does your community look like? How have they helped you?
Yeah, so well, first of all, I said I have a huge family. That's my biggest community. Like
Yes.
there was 26 of us that just went to the Bahamas over the holidays.
That had to have been wild.
It's so fun. It's so fun. I'm so thankful and lucky. And this is why I think mending relationships is so important, because I can't imagine not having my family. And obviously everyone has a different circumstance. We don't know what other people are going through. But I have a very large family. Thanksgiving is never less than 30 people. Christmas Eve, I always have probably 30 to 40 people over. So that's my community. And they are everything to me. So that's really important. But then I have two really just close friends that when I need to tell them about something exciting or just need like, hey, I just need you to, like, I need prayer. I'm going through this. I need you to help me. And they're there to listen and uplift me. So yeah, my community on one aspect is huge here. And then on this end, it's, kind of private and small, but intimate, I guess, in a way that's just, we're very, there's a lot of confidence between them and a lot of trust. And I love that. So I've been very much like that, very, very much about not having people in my life that drain me. I have never, I'm maybe too quick to be like, nope, don't need you.
Yeah.
Maybe a little harsh on it. But because I knew I have so much going on in my life and I don't want to take time that other areas of my life need me to take away from that. So it's just something I'm very quick to see in my kids. And I try to nicely be like, watch this and let me know how that makes you feel. Because there's nothing I hate more than watching somebody put somebody else down and making them feel less than.
Yeah.
Because
I agree.
We're all the same. We are different. And I love the uniqueness of everyone, but that doesn't mean that we connect with everyone,
No.
So you can admire and just kind of be with the people that really help you the most. So yeah, so that's what my community looks like.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's I was just talking with my friend, down in North Carolina, and she just called and she's like, I don't have the energy to go and make new friends. She's like,
Yeah.
I have my friends, I have my two friends, and I can pour my soul
And
out to
yeah.
them. But she's like, it's fine.
Yeah.
So, but she's like, with that said, when are we taking our next trip? She's like, can I tack on to, where are you going next? She's
Yeah.
like, can I meet you there?
That's funny. Actually, our best friends have gone with us. Well, the four of us all went somewhere one time. It was very fun because my best friend's like, where are you going? Our lives seem fun, but at the end of the day, we go to a lot of places that nobody wants to go with us because they're not fun places. So
I tell people I'm a truck driver, but with a mission. It's like if you think it's all, once in a while, it's like, oh my gosh, we're staying at a nice place.
Again, we post the nice places. We're not posting the not nice places. But yeah, it's fun to be able to travel with your friends too.
Yeah, they don't. She's like, I'm going to Springfield, Illinois. Want to join me?
Yeah. Sounds really fun.
She's like,
no. It's 20 degrees out this week. You want to go? Sounds really fun. So let's talk a little bit about then community, right? So let's talk about how people do this, because I think I've told you, I don't know if you ever joined it's a Facebook group to the local area. And
yes.
I just I read it, I guess.
Yeah.
Just to see what other people are talking about. And you get a ton of information of what people are going through and the struggles. And it's mostly like, hey, I need an idea for this, or hey, I'm going through this. Do you have any people that can help with this? But a lot of times I'll come across it and somebody's like, hey, I'm new to the area. I don't have any friends. Or hey, my kids haven't made any friends in school. Do you have kids this age? Do you want to connect them? So let's talk a little bit about how people can find friends other than stalking.
Other than just looking out the window and being like, hey, want to be my friend?
Yeah, right. So Nellie, as soon as she sees someone running out the door, there goes Nellie again. So, okay. So I know, so the Facebook, right? I watch people connect on there. It's really
technology is
kinda
really
cool.
great.
Yeah. I know our church has a moms group that
Church is huge, or just like a women's group. I mean, sometimes it's just they have a women's group, and that's great.
Oh, yeah.
And they just meet. I think we're actually starting, my friend that Josephine goes to school with, our daughter goes to school with, is she just invited me to a women's group. So I think a lot of times church is a good place.
So I think too, now that you say that, like there is an effort to be made in order to do this, right? So I'm thinking about it, and you're like, oh, and because I'm like, oh, I've been invited to those before, and I'm like, no. But because it's like, oh, I got this, I've got this.
Yes.
So it really does, that just reminded me, it really does take effort to have genuine relation. Even the ones that we have, you have to keep up with it. You have to talk to them, you know, and sometimes it's like, I don't have time, but sometimes you just have to make that time to do it. But yeah, for groups like that, that's a great idea, but you have to make the effort. Are you making the effort? Are you going?
We're going to see. We're going to see. If I'm in town, I told her I cannot be counted on for every day. But again, like to be a friend, you have to be a friend.
Yeah.
Or to have a friend, you have to be a friend. And so I sometimes tend to find friends who just reach out, and they understand that I'm not the best friend at reaching out, but they just give me grace, and they'll reach out, and then we can be friends.
Yeah. All right. So let me. Okay. So I heard this app. Have you heard of the Peanut app?
No.
Okay. So I think I might have heard of this on the Facebook friend group.
It's like a dating app for
you swipe
friends.
So I joined it because I wanted to see, because I knew we were going to do this. And so I'm like, okay, what is this about? So there are, I think, so I didn't do that part of it because I didn't want to swipe and pretend to want to be friends, and you know, they're in like California or something. I didn't know how to do it. So I didn't do it, but there is a connect button on it, but it's just Peanut.
Okay.
Is the app. And then, okay, so they're called pods, right? No. Groups. Okay, groups. So here's the ones that, like, they're all different topics. So charitable wisdom was interesting to me. New York City, travel and vacation.
How cool.
Financial district, boss ladies, fashion and style, fitness and motivation. But there's first time moms. It says mums, so British. But there's 446,000 posts in this group.
Wow.
So I think this is really great. But then there is also a connect. So just as an idea, like, and again, you just learn from reading what other people are going through. So I thought this was super fascinating. So if
that
you
is fascinating.
Want to try to find friends, tell us about it. If you find friends through this app, if you've used this app, tell us about it. I would love to hear more about this app. So I just got into it and just started researching it over the last couple of days. But I'm learning a lot from it too. Is this social media? Because I said I stopped scrolling through social media. Does
that qualify?
Because I was doing research for the podcast. I just thought about that. I was like, oh, shoot, did I not do what I said? Anyway, okay.
No, but the important thing is to not get caught in like a Facebook group or like an app like that, and then just get immersed in scrolling and swiping and not actually making a human connection. And I think that is a huge part of it, is people feel lonelier than ever with all of these connections, with all of this opportunity to connect. And I think the key thing is actually connecting in person. There is, phone is great. Texting, honestly, everybody loves to text, but so much gets, just misinterpreted and just doesn't transition the way you intend it to. And so sometimes you can lose a friend that way too.
Yeah. Don't lose a friend that way.
Don't lose a friend that way.
Reach out to them. Call them.
Just pick up the phone, good old-fashioned call them, and use the tools to make physical connections.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. So, all right, let's talk about challenges. Want to jump to challenges? What are we going to challenge this week? So I would say, I think for a challenge for me would be to reach out and schedule coffee. Or I have this one girl, I absolutely love her. She's going to know who I'm talking about her. And she's at church. She's quite a bit younger. She's actually one of the ones that came up to me and was like, how do you do all this? Like, I really want to work, but I'm struggling because I feel guilty for wanting to work and not stay at home with my kids. And I absolutely adore her. But she's so good at being like, hey, can we go to lunch? And I'm really bad at it. But I love it, and it's meaningful. and I love that time when I'm with her.
Yes.
So for me, my challenge to myself, to whoever else, is just going to be to take time to ask somebody to go have coffee. And it doesn't even have to be your best friend. It can be like somebody that your kids you're in their school, and you never know what's going to happen when you reach out and you take time. So that's going to be my challenge. What do you think about any other challenges?
I would say maybe step out your box for just something. So last Christmas, I signed up with our homeschool group and I was like, I'm not going to have time for this. I don't have time for this. I don't. But I was like, I'm going to volunteer to put on the Christmas play.
Oh, I did not
So
know this.
I'm not an educator. I'm not good. I'm decent with my kids. I mean, I'm okay. But, 35 kids to put on a production, and I'm just, it's way outside of my realm of things that I do. But that was something that was obviously not just like a weekly thing, but that was a big kind of jump outside of my comfort zone. And that's the big thing, is like, I just want to do something that I feel uncomfortable once a day. Like something that really, and it doesn't have to be a big thing like that. But for me, I mean, I still think back to that. Like, I just was listening to Christmas music from that production yesterday, and it kind of made me feel...
As you were taking down your Christmas tree?
Yes, kind of like a good way. It just made me feel like really, like, wow, I mean, I didn't know that part of myself. It made me feel good about myself. It made me feel like, I helped these kids, but I helped myself.
Yeah, that's cool. That's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, something different. I had no idea that you did that. No idea.
I was one of 3 moms, but nonetheless.
To add that to the craziness of Christmas already is impressive. Like, yeah. So, okay. So, challenge this week: do something different. Step out of your comfort zone. Invite somebody to coffee or dinner or wine. Wine is always good. So
definitely glass of wine.
And then weekly win. So, as always, come up with a weekly win. Share it with us. We'll have another weekly win, and I guess maybe I'll have to really stop social media if I'm gonna do it for real. Like
I
with
think
the
I
peanut,
want to join you
with
that.
The peanut. It's really great. I loved it. So
frees up a lot of time, right?
Yeah, but I do give myself 10 minutes a day, because I'm like, what is my kids doing? Like, I'm like, did they post anything? I want to see where they're at. So I do give myself 10 minutes in that. So just so you know. So okay. So yeah, I think that's it. I think I don't know that I shared this with you, but if it's okay, I'm going to do the Bible verse. So last week you shared a Bible verse. The one that I have this week is Proverbs 27:17. I love this verse when it comes to friendships, and it says, as iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. And I think that's so important in our lives, is to have somebody that challenges you to make you better.
Yes.
And elevates your standards. I think that for me, that's really important. Like, I want to aim higher and higher in everything. I want to be excellent as a mom, as a, in my job, like in every area of my life, I want to be excellent. So to find somebody that's going to kind of challenge you and push you in that, I love that. So that's my Bible verse that I think is really good for this friendship community. So that's it. That's our second podcast.
Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us, and we're so excited you're here. Please give us a follow on Instagram and Facebook. Please like our podcast and join us for our next time when we talk about fitness, a little bit of nutrition, and what that really looks like for a mom who doesn't have time. See ya.